Hi guys, welcome back to Gwayne Sailing. After another rough passage from Guadeloupe to Dominica, we arrived at Prince Rupert Bay. Most of the beaches in Dominica have black sand due to the 9 volcanoes on this island, 7 of which are still active. It's the most active volcanic island in the Eastern Caribbean. We took a guided river cruise through the jungle on the Indian River, in the rain, with George and Sylvie. We saw many huge blue land crabs and an old movie set from where the Pirates of the Caribbean was filmed. This movie was filmed in at least 7 different locations in Dominica. When the sun came out, we stopped at a bar that was built on the bank of a river for a cool drink. Our guide then took us on a hike through the rainforest and taught us about the different trees and plants along the way. He picked a bunch of different herbs and fruits for us to taste and some extra to bring back to our boat. We learned that bananas are the main export crop of Dominica. Back at the Bush Bar, we were able to try some of the different local liquors before heading back to town for lunch. The whole experience was like being on the Jungle Cruise in Disney World. The next stop south on the island was in the town of Roseau. 6 of us hired another tour guide to drive us for the day so we could see all the natural beauty that Dominica had to offer. We stopped at the largest freshwater lake in the country, which is over 2,500 feet above sea level. We learned that the residents' electricity comes from geothermal energy captured from warm sulfur water pouring out of the mountainside, which is heated by the volcanic activity below. We passed large aqueducts that bring clean mountain water down to the villages. Then stopped to hike Trafalgar Falls. This impressive waterfall comes from the same river upstream, separates into 2 different falls, and then meets back up again at the bottom. After lunch, our tour guide drove us to a lookout point to see more hot sulfur water boiling below, before heading back to the waterfront so we could snorkel in the unique Champagne Reef. As with the rest of the island, this area of the beach has a lot of volcanic activity under the sand and rocks, which creates holes below the ocean floor that allows air to escape up to the surface. The group's favorite stop was swimming up a river that was flowing through a narrow slot canyon. We rented the mandatory life jackets and paddled ourselves to the end of the river, where a giant waterfall came plunging down on us. Scenes from the Pirates of the Caribbean were also filmed in this unique rainforest, and we had a great time taking pictures and videos. Our last stop on the tour was to the top of a mountain with a beautiful overlook of the entire bay and mountainside village of Scott's Head. After we got a group photo, we headed back to the boat, driving through small towns and countryside villages. We got back just in time for a gorgeous sunset picture. The following morning, some friendly dolphins helped show us the way to our next Caribbean island of Martinique. In St. Pierre, we stopped to have lunch with our cruiser friends before going to the 1902 Catastrophe Museum to learn about the Mount Pelée volcano that exploded here. It killed every person in town except for one man who was in jail that day. The cell's thick rock walls were very secure and protected the prisoner from the hot mud and ash that covered the city in less than 5 minutes. Even all the boats in the harbor caught fire and sunk. These names on the wall represent all the citizens of the town who perished that day. Very little English is spoken here in St. Pierre, Martinique. It is mostly French and is known as the Little Paris of the Antilles. This used to be the capital of Martinique until the volcano eruption of 1902. The city is covered with murals of local townspeople throughout the years, and it has beautiful architecture. We really felt like we were in an old European village with cobblestone streets and buildings, and chickens and cats wandering around the sidewalks. We took a hike with Andy up a steep hill to the Paz rum distillery for a self-guided tour of the rum factory and the family's mansion on the property. The grounds were immaculate and included both a tasting room and a restaurant. We walked past Tippy Beach on our way back to the boat that night to check out their amazing beach pig roast with a great view. Evenings here were magical with amazing sunsets and with the city all lit up with white lights. Our next stop in Martinique was in the city of Fort de France. We anchored right in front of the fort overlooking the bay, and it reminded us a bit of the waterfront fort in St. Augustine, Florida. We walked around the busy downtown to check out some architecture. And some colorful murals. We did some shopping and had a drink with friends on the upstairs balcony as we watched the pedestrians down below. We found an indoor market and bought some local spices, sauces, and rum drinks. In the evenings, our view of the nighttime city lights was a beautiful backdrop as we hosted friends on our boat. We sailed through more thick sargassum, which can clog the water intakes for our engines, before arriving at Rodney Bay in the country of St. Lucia. The produce boat here comes around daily, selling fruits, veggies, eggs, and breads to all the boats in the anchorage. In the evenings, we would gather at the nearby marina for happy hour sundowners. We rented a car with our friends June and Diana and drove to the St. Lucia Rum Distillery for a tour. We've tried enough rum here in the Caribbean to know that we like rum made from molasses instead of the traditional sugar cane, which is easy to grow in the Caribbean. There is a self-serve tasting room at the end of the tour where guests can sample as much of the different rums as they want. We stopped in town for lunch before going to visit the remains of an old fort on a hill overlooking the ocean on nearby Pigeon Island. On Friday evenings in the Rodney Bay area, the locals set up tents and tables in the neighborhood streets to sell their homemade food and rum punches. There are live bands and radios blasting music for people to dance to in the streets. We ate dinner here with a group of our cruisers' friends at picnic tables and chairs that are set up for people to eat their food and socialize outside. This island is entirely volcanic, and the two peaks of Gros Piton and Petit Piton are the predominant features. Even today, there are still many geothermal areas on the island, such as this volcano that you can drive right up to and get out of your car to take photos. A ranger joined us this day to teach us more about what we were seeing there. There are boat boys in most of the anchorages in the Caribbean. They are there to help you tie up to a mooring ball, provide restaurant suggestions, and will watch your boat or take your garbage to shore for a small fee. Our boat boy in Sofries, St. Lucia, was able to organize a family-style meal on our boat for us and our friends on Rising Dawn and New Wave. After dinner, there was an amazing fireworks show in front of the Piton Mountains. Our local boat boy was also able to arrange a tour guide to show us some of the top sites in St. Lucia, like Project Chocolate, where we learned all about cocoa beans, and we each got to make our own homemade chocolate bar. We took a hike to Superman Waterfalls, past mango and avocado trees. At these falls, we first took a mud bath in the healthy, rich earth minerals packed in the volcanic ash and peat, then rinsed off in the warm water that had been heated by underground hot springs and lava tubes. Our tour guide brought us to Piton Falls, where the warm water from these beautiful falls is captured in a crystal clear man-made pool at the bottom. And then finally to Chirelli Falls, which was very cold, and the water came beating down on us from 50 feet above. We stopped at a few different overlooks as we explored the island before heading back to our boat. St. Lucia was beautiful, and we had a great time exploring it with our friends. Well, that's it for this episode of Gwayne Sailing. Join us next time as we explore St. Vincent's Grenadine Islands, including Bequa, Canuan, Meru, and Union Island. If you're enjoying these videos, please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.